I've spoken to a few people and they're like, well, can you not speak to your GP? And we have done when I was sat in the waiting room and around me was, 60, 70, 80-year-olds. And I was thinking, I shouldn't be here. Hey everybody, my name is Tom Pope, and today marks the beginning of an incredible adventure. Welcome to the first episode of TinMan to IronMan. Where do I begin? Started seeing a PT about 12 months ago, and as we started to progress and as I started to move again, my body was creaking. We went through so many different pitches of sound. It started quite high pitched and squeaky, and then it go to like quite a deep rumble, and then all of a sudden the squeaking didn't stop. And we assume that's because the fascial layers had started to move enough so that they were free. I was big into fitness, probably 2016, 17, 18. Going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, eating chicken, rice and veg every day. Work started to get busier and I started traveling a lot more. And I guess just enjoying the ride of that and enjoying the travel, enjoying, getting paid to film around the world, chasing supercars and going on weekend trips down to Sydney to film an event and then fly back and then flying to Canada like 2 days later. And it was amazing, it was such a ride. But yeah, my body, from getting stiff, but also my hands. It's been diagnosed with Raynaud's, but I know people with Raynaud's and this is definitely not it. So that's another thing we're trying to get some answers for. We think it might be gut related. I've done the Zoe test, blood's fine, heart's fine, lungs are fine. So thankfully all the major organs are all still working, but there is still something that we don't quite know what that is. And that was quite annoying actually. I've spoken to a few people and they're like, well, can you not speak to your GP? And we have done when I was sat in the waiting room and around me was 60, 70, 80-year-olds, and I was thinking, I shouldn't be here. So since then we've just been on a journey of, we know what's working, move every day, get proper sleep, drink lots of water, try and reduce stress where you can. Obviously it's tricky being an entrepreneur with quite a few projects on the way. And the major thing is eat properly as well. There's a trigger in my hands at the moment where if I'm hungry, they drain. I drop probably 2 or 3 ring sizes. If I then eat again, all that fluid comes back. So, well, the trouble is we don't really know why. I've not really had a diagnosis and I am still searching for someone/company who can potentially diagnose this sticky fascia that we're sort of self-diagnosed, I guess. The plan for TinMan to IronMan is 2025, I'm going to do an Ironman, that is the plan. But between now and then, there's a hell of a lot of work to do. I'm building up my running, seeing a PT 3 times a week, and we're building up the endurance, which is great, because 12 months ago, I couldn't run at all. Now I can do like 3 or 4K. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's a lot to me. There's a few things that I need to work out, one being squats. I can't get the bar behind my back, so that's a huge thing that I need to try and work on, opening up the shoulder mobility. I've got a few plans in the works, a few people that we've partnered with GØDHEAD. We've got some interesting collabs coming up, and hopefully they might be able to help me on my journey to getting to Ironman level. It's been a weird year or 2, to be honest. When I first started training, it sounds weird, but it didn't feel like I was in my own body. Having going from being pretty fit and healthy, skiing, mountain biking, we were doing calisthenics, I was climbing. It was over a couple of years, I'd say, the kind of downhill progression. But yeah, looking back, it's crazy to think where I was to where I am now. So, that's a positive, I guess. It'd be amazing to look back on these and think, fuck, this is where you started. Now you're doing an Ironman. Race day. So I'm all signed on. This feels strange. It's been a fair old journey to get to this point. Last 2 weeks of PT sessions, we've been training in the forest here, which is quite good because this is where the race is. So yeah, I've got weird pre-race nerves again, which I've not had for a very long time. So that's kind of interesting. But I'm actually looking forward to this one. It's been my first 10k that I've done for probably about 10 years. The last one I did was the Manchester Road 10k. So this is a 10k trail race. So this is going to be a little bit different, I think. A few more hills. I know the forest quite well. I know the trail that we're doing very well. We've tested out a few sections of it during my PTs last week, so I know what's coming, which is going to be a little bit of a mental battle, but hopefully will work in my favour as well. I've ran consistently 3 or 4k every day for the last week or two, so it feels like my recovery is definitely getting a lot better, which is really nice to feel. The first section is on bike trail, so it's single track downhill. So I need to try and find a good group to get into on that, because you could quite easily get held up down there. So the start's going to be pretty important to not get too ahead, or not get into a group that's faster than me, but not get into a group that's potentially slower. So there's a few little tactics, but having said that, knowing the trails could actually be an advantage to me. Also, I'm very pleased I cut my hair. Long hair was cool, but this is way more practical if I'm running every day and getting sweaty. It's a nightmare having to wash it every day, and I feel for you girls who have to do that every day. 5 minutes to go. Too fast. Always, mate.
Well done, babe. Halfway, baby. Keep going. Woo! Keep going, darling. Easy. Well done. Well done. Amazing. So good.
Yeah, you've done legs feel alright. So my breath.
See you at the finish.
It's 2 days after the race. Feeling pretty recovered. Hamstrings were a little tight yesterday, but that's probably to be expected, I guess. So the race was actually 10.2k. Now, I was aiming for a 1 hour 10, 1 hour 20, came in at 1 hour 16 minutes, so I was pretty happy with that. Elevation gain of about 208 meters, and I think I averaged about a 7:25 per k. So, you know, pretty good really. Funnily enough, on the race, I actually ran my fastest 2k and 5k. So not only did I run the furthest I've ran in over a decade, but I smashed some PBs along the way. Now I'm not gonna lie, I did walk a couple of the steeper sections. I never felt out of breath, but I just had a stitch, probably 4 or 5k in, but thankfully that went. Now for the rest of the race, I was just had a big smile on my face, like I can't believe I can run again. We're actually driving to Morzine tonight, so we've got about an 18-hour drive. The plan is to do a bit of training at altitude, build up some aerobicness, and yeah, hopefully that might help me in my next race, which I have booked, and I'll tell you a bit more in episode 2. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and remember, all is possible. I'll see you in the next one.